Hey guys, KingBar06 here, and I'm back with another video. In this video, I'll be showing you guys the speed paint for the creation of my reference sheet for Charlotte Littlehorn, as I hinted about doing in past videos. In this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on creating Charlotte Littlehorn, what I've been doing with Charlotte Littlehorn, and my thoughts on My Hero Academia Season 6, English dub specifically. Spoiler alert for that specific section. As you guys know, Charlotte Littlehorn was created due to a random characteristics generator that I created using the English version of Shinden Maker. When I created the initial drawing, my primary objective was simply to fulfill the prompt and draw the different characteristics. Funny thing is that I initially messed up on a few of them and had to refer back to the initial prompt. Had I not referred to the original prompt, I think I would have done red and purple hair rather than the white and purple hair that's present. Also, I think I was going to do cornrows or some other hairstyle instead of dreadlocks. So after the video was done, I moved on to my other drawings that I decided to work on. There was a point where I decided to create a full-on reference sheet for her. So at some point I got to work. Before I finished it, there was a large chunk of time in which I focused on other drawings while I got stuck on one design element. The shoes. As you guys can tell, the vast majority of my drawings that I create aren't full body. Not that I can't draw full body, but something that I don't do so that often. Because of this, the shoes weren't a part of the first Charlotte drawing, so I had to take some time away from working on the sheet to decide what kind of shoes I wanted. Eventually I decided on some basketball shoes, so I took reference of a couple of shoes that I found online, plus a pair of basketball shoes that I personally owned to create a new shoe for Charlotte. From that point, I just had to continue the process. The reference sheet took me a combined total of 8 hours and 19 minutes to complete. This doesn't include any time I had to think or any time looking for references and just taking any breaks, just pure drawing time within the project itself. This is probably longer than any other reference sheet that I have made up to this point, but this one is significantly different in its structure in comparison to all the other ones. With every other reference sheet, I took the same pose from 3 angles: front view, side view, and 3/4 view. So I drew 3 full bodies of one character per sheet. In this one, I drew Charlotte in 2 positions, one of which that I've never drawn before being the 3/4 back view. On top of that, I drew 3 different expressions to showcase her overall mood. One thing that I'm realizing is I forgot to put her piercings in the original, but never mind that. The piercings can be added as part of her story. I'm sure that some of you guys watching have heard of someone known as Sam Does Arts, or his real name, Sam Yang. Well, due to binging some of his videos, I've been inspired to do some art challenges. In fact, it could be said that he inspired me to finish up this reference sheet. I won't make any promises yet, but I do have a few ideas for what I want to do. I want to do the 1 drawing 4 styles challenge. For those of you who are unfamiliar with that, you make 1 drawing and split it into 4 squares, and each square you do draw in a different style. When Sam did it, I was amazed how easy he made it all look, especially the realism. Hence, I was inspired to do it as well. Whether I'll actually go through with it is something that all of you will have to wait for. I also recently found this art challenge on Pinterest in which you draw your OC as different things like a zombie, werewolf, and the original one had Pokemon as one of them. Since I'm not a Pokemon fan, I replaced it with a stand as in from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Speaking of, I'm completely caught up on Stone Ocean. I also had an idea of doing a drawing that features both Charlotte Littlehorn and Hontoni Kete. Surprisingly, I haven't drawn much of my Power Surge characters. The only thing that I finished this year was my Hontoni Kete expression sheet. Speaking of, I'm working on the same thing for Kiwomete Kete, his little brother. The reason I want to do this drawing is to express how Charlotte and Hontoni would interact with one another. This way you guys, as the audience, can get a glimpse of how both of these characters are and how they socialize within their worlds. Chances are, Charlotte Littlehorn will not be a Power Surge character. As of now, I have not created any female Power Surge characters. The only one that's a part of the beginning of the story is Kira Pokimiku, who, if you guys read the chapter summaries, you'll know a little bit more about her. I did create a design back in 2019, but I'm definitely going to rework it as I did for the Hontoni design. In fact, the current design for Hontoni is the 4th design for him. I can't wait for you guys to see more of my original work, and don't worry, fan art will still be coming, and in fact, there will be one next week as I have finished making a full artwork out of thumbnail 13 out of the 3 thumbnails that I told you guys I was going to make drawings of. Spoiler alert, I will be talking about the first 6 episodes of Season 6 of My Hero Academia. If you are not caught up to the English dub, either skip this section or mute this video until the next section. I repeat, I will be discussing my thoughts on the first 6 episodes of My Hero Academia Season 6. Either skip this section or mute it. With the warning out of the way, I'll get straight into my thoughts of what's been going on in My Hero Academia. Honestly, I knew that Shigaraki wasn't going to be kept out of the fight for long. Eventually, he was going to join the fray and make things more difficult for the heroes. Hawks did his best to keep Twice from changing the tide of battle with a bunch of doubles, and it sucks that he was forced to kill him to do so. I understand his decision. If Twice were to enter the fight, it would spell absolute chaos for the heroes, and he's practically a one-man army. Speaking of Hawks, I'm glad to see that he did his job well when it came to Tokoyami. Because of him, Tokoyami can now take advantage of Dark Shadow and be able to fly in the air. This concept was introduced in Season 5, by the way, for those of you who are confused. Granted, Dark Shadow is still weak to light, but Tokoyami is making progress nonetheless. But Tokoyami is definitely a force to be reckoned with. As Fatcom states, no one prior has ever escaped from his fate, much less without a struggle. Dude is a powerhouse. Despite Crust having little screen time due to his death, he proved himself to be a worthy hero, especially given that he gave up his life to save Aizawa without any hesitation, and he did it with a smile on his face and a thumbs up. That's just straight heroism right there, and a great understanding of the situation. Without Aizawa, the heroes really can't do anything to Shigaraki. I mean, the number 1 hero can't even do any significant damage to Shigaraki due to his variety of quirks because he has All For One now. Speaking of All For One, I knew all along that Midoriya would become the major hero in this complex at some point. The only thing that can combat All For One is One For All. In fact, One For All was designed to defeat All For One. Not only that, but One For All along with the 7 quirks fused into the core. In other words, Midoriya will have to not only be able to use One For All at 100%, but all 7 quirks as well. My guess is that during the final battle, the other users of One For All will help Deku as he's fighting Shigaraki. Shigaraki's decay alone is too much of an issue, as when he woke up, he single-handedly destroyed the majority of the city. It was kind of freaky to hear the first user of One For All tell Midoriya to stop Shigaraki. It was even crazier that Shigaraki mentioned One For All, and Midoriya was instantly spooked when he heard that in the last episode. That instantly forced Midoriya and Bakugo into action. For now, the two of them will sit back and let the pros handle things, but we all know that it won't end that way. It's great to see Bakugo thinking about Deku and acknowledging how much he's grown. Now we know Deku can use 30% full cowling and 45% during the moment of impact for an attack. Previously, his limit was 8% normally and 20% but with a strain on his body. This was back in Season 4, and in Season 5, there is no evidence that that's changed. Man, I am excited for the rest of this season. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, check out my Twitter and Discord, both are in the description. If you want to know what I'm currently doing or thinking about, those 2 places are the best places to go. I will see you guys next time.